The galaxy was quiet that night, but the fear on the small colony of Trisa 9 was louder than any storm. People ran across broken streets carrying children, old parents, and anything they could save. The ground shook as explosions hit the outer walls. The colony had been hunted for months by a cruel species known as the Ravagers, and now their last defenses were falling apart. Inside the control tower, the colony leader, Aaron Hale, watched the monitors with trembling hands. Red warnings flashed everywhere. Shields down, power failing, enemy forces entering the North Block. Every message was worse than the last. He looked at the tired faces of his team and felt something break inside him. They were out of time. "Send it," Aaron whispered. His communications officer, a young woman barely 20, stared at him. "Sir, you mean the emergency code?" "The ancient one." Aaron nodded. "Yes, the code for outsiders. The code we hoped we would never need." The young woman turned back to her screen, typed a long sequence, and pressed the final key. A soft pulse of light moved through the tower systems and a message was shot into deep space. Small, weak, and full of fear. It was a single SOS. No one on Tessa 9 believed anyone would hear it. Their empire had ignored them. Nearby planets were too scared to help. And humans? Well, humans had gone silent long ago. They stayed far away from galactic politics. Some people even believed humans no longer cared about anyone outside their own borders. Most people thought the SOS would disappear into the cold black sky and never be seen again. But far across the stars, in a quiet listening station on the edge of human territory, a young officer named Liam Ward was the first to hear it. The station was almost always peaceful. The screens glowed softly, showing slow-moving data. Liam spent most nights drinking tasteless coffee and reading old adventure books. Nothing exciting ever happened out here. That changed with one small sound. Beep. A faint signal appeared on Liam's console. At first he ignored it, thinking it was another random echo from drifting satellites. But then he noticed something strange. The signal was shaking, broken, like someone crying through a storm. Liam leaned closer, turned up the volume, and froze. The message repeated in a trembling voice, "Please, anyone, we need help. Teresa 9 is falling. Thousands of lives, please." Liam sat up straight. He played the message again and again. Each time, it cut into him deeper. He quickly checked the source. It came from far beyond human borders. No allies nearby. No rescue ships in range. He had never heard fear like this. Liam ran to the main channel and sent the recording to Earth Command. His voice shook as he added a message of his own. "Urgent distress signal detected. Civilian colony under attack. Request immediate review." Then he waited, heart pounding. It took only minutes for command to respond, but to Liam, it felt like hours. The screens on every wall suddenly turned red. The station lights dimmed. A loud, sharp alarm echoed through the room. A line of text appeared across all screens. "Deathworld victims detected. Activate Protocol Read." Liam's breath caught. He had heard of Protocol Red, but only in old training videos. It was created for one purpose, to protect any species classified as vulnerable or hunted by powerful enemies. Humans once lived on a death world themselves. They understood suffering. They understood fear. And because of that, they had promised long ago that they would never ignore a desperate cry for help. Liam watched in shock as Earth Command began to move at lightning speed. Massive hangars opened. War engines activated. Ships that had slept for decades came online with a deep roar. Humanity was waking up. Across the colonies, families stepped outside and saw the night sky glow with the fire of engines. Armored carriers rose from hidden bases. Enormous destroyers detached from orbital docks. Old veterans looked up and whispered to themselves, "It has been years since we launched the Armada." The Deathworld Armada was not something the galaxy wanted to see again. But tonight, it was not rising for war. It was rising because a small colony asked for help, and humans heard them. Back on Tessa 9, the people felt the ground shaking under their feet. Many believed the Ravagers were breaking through. Children cried. Parents held on to whatever hope was left above them. Space rippled like water. A shadow covered the sky. A voice echoed through every speaker on the planet. This is the human Deathworld Armada. Tessa, 9. You are not alone. Everyone stopped. Everyone looked up. The SOS had reached the one species the galaxy never expected to answer. Humans. When the human armada appeared above Teresa 9, the colonists did not know what to think. For years, stories had described humans as quiet, distant, and uninterested in galactic problems. But nothing about the ships in the sky looked quiet. Nothing looked soft. The largest ship, a dark giant with glowing shields, blocked half the sunlight. Smaller ships moved around it with perfect formation, like a pack of predators guarding an alpha beast. Their engines hummed so deeply that the ground vibrated in every direction. Inside one of the ruined homes, a teenage girl named Era held her younger brother Taro close. She had lost her parents to the Ravager raids months ago. Since then, she had learned to survive by moving quietly, hiding fast, and trusting no one. When the sky turned dark, she thought it was another Ravager trick. Taro whispered, shaking, "Ara, are they here to finish us?" A did not answer. She stared at the sky with wide, terrified eyes. The symbols on the largest ship were unfamiliar, but the message that followed was not. This is the human Deathworld Armada. Civilians, stay sheltered. We are entering the battlefield. The ground shook as human dropships launched downward like burning meteors. They hit the surface in controlled landings, cracking the soil, sending dust clouds everywhere. Ravagers who had surrounded the colony looked up and hesitated for the first time. Ravagers were known for their cruelty. They took what they wanted. They hunted for pleasure. They never feared anyone in the galaxy, but they had never fought humans before. The Ravager commander, a tall creature with bone armor, scoffed when he saw the human dropships. "Weaklings," he growled to his troops. "They come with small numbers. Crush them." He did not know his mistake yet. The first human soldier stepped out of the dropship wearing black armor covered in glowing blue lines. The armor was thicker than anything Ravagers had seen. A massive shield on the soldier's arm opened like a metal wing. The soldier's visor flashed, scanning everything. Then dozens more soldiers stepped out behind him. They moved in silence. No fear, no hesitation, no wasted motion. The Ravagers screamed and attacked, firing their plasma weapons wildly. But the plasma vanished against the human shields, like water hitting stone. Human soldiers raised their arms, and the battlefield exploded with controlled, clean fire. Ravagers fell instantly. Those who tried to run were caught by drones flying overhead, locking onto their heat signatures. Human war machines were not built for cruelty. They were built to end cruelty. Era and Taro watched from behind a broken wall. Taro trembled. Era kept her hand over his mouth, terrified the soldiers or the Ravagers might hear them. Suddenly, footsteps echoed nearby. Era grabbed a metal pipe and stepped in front of her brother. Her heart pounded. She had no plan, but she had already lost too much. She refused to lose Taro. The wall behind them broke apart. A human soldier stepped inside. His height, his armor, his glowing visor, it all looked terrifying. Era swung the pipe desperately, but the soldier caught it easily with one hand. Instead of hurting her, he gently pushed it away. Then he knelt. His voice came through the helmet, deep but kind. "Do not be afraid. I am here to help you." Era froze. Her breath caught in her throat. She expected violence, not kindness. The soldier scanned Taro and tapped his helmet. "I have 2 civilians," he said. "One minor, 1 injured. Sending location." Moments later, 2 human medics arrived. They lifted Taro onto a stretcher and covered him with a warm shield blanket. The boy stared up with wide eyes. You're saving us," he whispered. One medic smiled. "That is why we came." Ara felt tears rise. She had not cried in months, not since her parents died. But hearing those simple words, "We came for you," broke something open inside her. Outside, the battle raged on. Human ships moved with impossible precision. Drones formed moving shields. Heavy walkers crushed Ravager lines. Everything about the humans was controlled strength, but their kindness was as powerful as their weapons. The Ravager commander tried one final attack, sending all his forces forward. But the moment they charged, the sky lit up. A line of human warships unleashed a synchronized strike that turned the battlefield into burning glass. The fight was over. Humans had arrived, and they were not leaving anyone behind. Era looked at the soldier beside her. "Why?" she whispered. "Why did your people help us?" The soldier looked at the burning horizon, then at her. "Because someone asked for help," he said softly, "and humans always answer." The battle ended faster than anyone on Trisa 9 expected. Ravager bodies lay scattered around the colony's edges. Their weapons melted. Their armor cracked. Human drones zipped through the air, scanning for survivors or hidden threats. Every movement was calm, controlled, almost surgical, but for the survivors of Tessa 9. The real shock was not the victory. It was why humans had come at all. Era sat beside her brother, who now rested inside a clean human medical tent. Warm lights glowed above him. Machines monitored his heartbeat with gentle beeps. For the first time in a long time, he looked peaceful. Nearby, human soldiers unloaded crates of food, medicine, blankets, and clean water. Their discipline impressed everyone. They never shouted. They never pushed. Every soldier helped with quiet purpose. Era kept watching them. She still could not understand. Her own empire had ignored Tessa 9. Nearby colonies were too afraid to help. So why did humans, who owed them nothing, cross half the galaxy? Her question found an answer when Liam Ward, the officer who first heard the SOS, arrived on the planet with a relief team. He carried no weapon, just a small datapad and a calm voice. He walked around checking on families, comforting children, speaking to elders. When he reached Era, she stood up quickly, unsure if she should salute, bow, or speak. Liam smiled gently. "You are safe now," he said. Ara nodded, but the question inside her burned stronger. "Why? Why did you come for us?" she finally whispered. Liam paused. The wind blew softly past them, carrying dust and smoke from the battle. He sat on a broken stone beside her. "Do you know much about Earth?" he asked. Ara shook her head. "Only old stories. Most of the galaxy thinks humans want to stay away from everyone." Liam smiled sadly. "Not exactly. Humans just learn to be careful." He looked at the sky, at the giant human ships floating like silent guardians. "Earth was once a death world," he continued. "Everything there wanted to kill us. Storms, animals, diseases, even the land itself. Humans grew strong because we had no choice. But that strength came with something else." Era frowned. "What?" Liam turned to her, his voice quiet but steady. "When humans see someone struggling, we feel it. We remember what it was like to survive every single day. We remember fear. We remember losing people. And we promised long ago that we would never look away from anyone who suffers like we once did." Era's throat tightened. "But thousands of species suffer. Many send signals. Why did you answer ours?" Liam nodded slowly. "True. Not every cry reaches us. But yours," he lifted his datapad, showing the weak SOS signal. "Yours sounded like children, families, a world trying to keep hope alive. Even when everything was burning." He looked at her directly. "And humans do not ignore hope." Era felt her eyes sting. For years, she believed her people were alone, forgotten, unimportant. But here stood a stranger from another world, telling her she mattered enough to mobilize the strongest fleet in the galaxy. At the same time, across the colony, survivors gathered around human relief teams. Some watched with fear, some with disbelief, and some with tears of quiet gratitude. An older man approached Liam. "Is it true?" he asked. "Your armada came because of our single message." Liam nodded. "A single message is enough." "But the Ravagers," the man said shakily, "they were not after you. They were after us. You risked everything." Liam's face hardened. Not with anger, but with conviction. "Ravagers go after the weak," he said. That makes them our responsibility. Era felt something shift inside her. The galaxy always taught them that humans were distant, unpredictable, dangerous. But now, she saw a different truth. Humans were dangerous, but only to those who harmed the innocent. High above them, alarms rang through the human fleet. The Ravager's remaining ships attempted a desperate counterattack from orbit, but human commanders reacted instantly. All units, a calm voice said over the comms. Protect the colony. Engage without hesitation. The sky lit up with beams of light as human destroyers fired in perfect sequence. What remained of the Ravager fleet turned into dust in less than 10 seconds. Sure seconds. I stared upward in disbelief. The galaxy had feared the human armada for centuries, calling them unpredictable, calling them monsters. But she finally understood. The armada was not built to conquer. It was built to protect. Liam stood beside her, watching the sky fade from fire to calm. That, he said softly, is why humanity answered. Era looked at him with a mixture of awe and hope. Will you leave now? She whispered. Liam shook his head. No, he said. Now we stay. We rebuild, and we make sure no one hurts you again. The sun rose slowly over Tessa. 9, shining on a world that finally felt safe after years of fear. For the first time, smoke in the sky came not from destruction, but from engines repairing broken systems. Human engineers worked side by side with the colonists, handing out tools, fixing power lines, rebuilding fallen structures. Children followed them everywhere, staring with wide eyes as if watching legends walk in real life. Era stood near the old colony square, holding Taro's hand. Her brother was now awake, smiling for the first time in months. He wore a small, human medical patch on his arm, glowing softly as it healed him. Every time he looked at it, he whispered, "The humans saved me." Across the square, Liam spoke with the colony leader, Aaron Hale. His voice was calm, but Ara could feel the weight of his words. "We will stabilize your food supply first," Liam explained. "Then we will set up defense towers. The Ravagers will not return ever." Aaron nodded, though disbelief still filled his eyes. "I do not know how to thank you. No one else came, not even our own empire." Liam shook his head gently. "We did not come for thanks. We came because you needed us." Era watched the conversation quietly. Each word deepened something inside her, strange feeling she had almost forgotten. Hope. But the galaxy did not run on hope. It ran on fear, power, alliances, and ancient rivalries. And when news of the human armada's arrival spread across star networks, the galaxy reacted exactly as expected. Some empires froze in fear. Some sent urgent messages demanding explanations. Others pretended they were not scared, but their trembling ambassadors proved otherwise. No one expected humans to wake up again. On distant worlds, leaders whispered in worry. Why did the humans send their Deathworld Armada? Who did they destroy? Are they returning to the old days, when their strength shook the stars? Rumors grew faster than truth, but Teresa 9 knew the truth. Later that evening, Liam gathered the surviving colony members in the central square. Human soldiers stood around the edges, lowering their helmets so the survivors could see their faces. Real faces, not metal and shadows. Ara held Taro close as Liam stepped forward. "People of Tressa 9, he began. Your SOS did not just reach us. It moved us. You fought alone for too long. No one should face terror without help." His words echoed through the quiet air. In the old days, Liam continued, humanity learned something important. Strength means nothing if you do not use it to protect others. That is why we came. That is why we will stay until your world stands strong again. A soft murmur spread through the colony. Relief, disbelief, gratitude. Aaron Hale stepped forward, voice breaking as he said, "You crossed galaxies for us. Why? We would have died without anyone even knowing." Liam looked at the people gathered, at the broken buildings, at the children wrapped in human blankets. "You lived," he said simply. "That is reason enough." At that moment, a loud beep echoed across the human comms. A fleet-wide transmission flashed on every soldier's visor. Liam checked his device and frowned. Era felt her heart tighten. Is something wrong? Liam sighed, then looked up at the sky. It seems the galaxy has questions, he said. Every major empire wants to know why we responded to your signal. Some are not happy. Fear rippled through the crowd. Will they attack us? Era asked quietly. Liam shook his head. No, they will not attack you. Why not? He turned slowly, pointing upward. The sky shimmered as more human ships appeared, bigger, brighter, heavier than the ones before. Their arrival caused winds strong enough to sway buildings. Colonists gasped. Some fell to their knees. It was not just an armada now. It was the entire Earth Defense Command. Liam spoke with steady confidence. Because if they attack you, they attack us. And no empire is foolish enough to challenge a Deathworld species that is fully awake. The meaning hit Era like lightning. Tressa 9 was no longer alone. Humanity had made it their protected world. Taro squeezed Ara's hand, whispering, "We matter." Finally, Liam stepped forward again, raising his voice for all to hear. Let the galaxy know this truth, he declared. If you send one SOS into the dark, humans will hear it. And when humans answer, he looked toward the sky filled with their ships. The stars will shake. The colonists erupted in quiet tears and relieved laughter. Families held each other. Children cheered. Hope spread like warm fire in cold air. Era looked at Liam, her eyes shining. You changed everything, she whispered. Liam smiled softly. No, he said. You did when you sent that message. And so the legend began. One cry for help, one human answer, one armada that changed the galaxy forever.